welcome back to the David67 Celtic News YouTube channel. This Saturday afternoon video is going to be a preview of tomorrow afternoon's table-topping clash between Celtic and Hearts. Game will be a 3 o'clock kickoff from Celtic Park in Glasgow, and the game is also live on Sky Sports, and the game pits Celtic, who lie second, against Hearts, who lie first, both in 32 points, separated by goal difference. Celtic, however, do have a game in hand, and so if Celtic can manage to win the game in Wilfried Nancy's first game as Celtic manager, it would put Celtic 3 points ahead, still with their game in hand to come, and so would obviously put Celtic in pole position after Wilfried Nancy's first game as Celtic head coach, Celtic manager, in what is going to be obviously for all the teams in Scotland, particularly those who've got European games in between. It's going to be a very, very busy December and January. Plus, Celtic will be obviously looking to add a few players in the winter transfer window, and there were reassurances from Michael Nicholson, the Chief Executive Officer, that Nancy will be backed in the transfer window to add the players that he wants to add to improve the squad and also mould the squad better in his style of football. Interesting press conference on Friday afternoon, both by Callum McGregor and by Nancy. McGregor very, very positive, very, very enthusiastic regarding the new ways that Nancy is bringing in as coach. Nancy is retaining two of the pre-existing coaching staff, Gavin Strachan, who's been there now for 5 years, and Stevie Woods, the goalkeeping coach, who's been there for around about 18 years. And so it makes sense for the two experienced coaches to remain in place. Sean Maloney will also be there in the background as he reverts to his previous role, and following on, McManus would appear to be back away for openings elsewhere. In his press conference, Nancy just basically tried to get across his philosophy. Big believer in attacking, but big believer in fluid football. Wants all his players to have at least two different roles within the team. He talked about making tweaks and small additions and here and there, and said he wasn't going to make any major changes at this point, really trying to keep things going from the Martin O'Neill days, trying to also keep the players' confidence up and keep them playing for each other. And certainly from this Saturday morning training video, it does look like Nancy is much more involved with training sessions, leading the sessions, also having sessions run by Strachan and his other coaches. And it does appear that positive feedback, praise, and having fun doing training is all important in the Wilfried Nancy way of coaching and training and improving players. And there were some interesting little training exercises which seemed to have a degree of competition between the players with actual goals, and everybody seemed to be having tremendous fun. Otherwise, there wasn't a tremendous amount of interesting stuff from Nancy's first press conference. However, it does appear to be a positive, friendly, jovial person, deep thinker with one or two interesting thoughts about football and about life. And I think he is a breath of fresh air and a massive, massive contrast to Brendan Rodgers, and is much more in the Ange Postecoglou and Martin O'Neill way of being a manager, head coach, and how he interacts with players and with the media and journalists. It wasn't covered as such during the press conferences. However, it's thought that James Forrest is on the verge of getting back into training and likely back into first team action potentially in the near future. Obviously, Alistair Johnson, Callum Osmond and Cameron Carter-Vickers and Jota all remain out in the longer term, although Jota was available for a Christmas-related charity event on Celtic's behalf. And so that's a positive sign that we might be getting him back soon. Didn't actually see Kelechi Iheanacho in the training footage from earlier on Saturday, although that might just be simply that there were a lot of different players and faces and tracksuits and hats and all kinds of scarves, etc. So it's not always easy to pick up everybody's identity in a busy training session. Now, I don't think that Nancy is going to make any particular big changes in his first game against Hearts, having only really been in the door a couple of days. So I'm pretty sure he's going to stick pretty much to a 4-3-3, although I do expect he's going to ask the players just to be a wee bit more dynamic, a wee bit more fluid, and a bit more active in terms of trying to move the ball quickly, trying to do more first-time touches and much more first-time passes, which appear to be the main thing they were practicing today in training. But I don't think he will be switching to the 3-4-3 until he's been in the role for at least a few weeks, as I think he's going to have to work out which players are going to fit into the system better, and it may well be that he sticks to the 4-3-3, which he did use on times when he was the head coach manager at Columbus Crew. And whilst he did particularly favour the 3-4-3 or the 3-4-2-1, he also went 5-3-2, 4-3-3, 4-4-2, and so he actually does change his tactics, his formations, and the way that he sets up the players from game to game based on what's best for the opposition. Having said all that, I think we're going to go in with a basic 4-3-3 with maybe a wee bit of a tweak here and there. I think the back four will be Schmeichel in goals, Donovan, Trusty, Scales and Kieran Tierney, as Marcelo Sirachi is thought to be out with a hamstring problem. I think the midfield three will stay the same, Engels, Hatate and McGregor, with McGregor and Engels that bit deeper, trying to go box to box. Hatate starting a bit further up, and I think he's going to go for Benjamin Nygren out on the right, although having a very fluid role and spending more time as a free role attacking midfielder, second striker, trying to concentrate on getting him into the box. On the left, Hai Yung Yang, and on through the middle, Dyson Maida. I think there is a possibility that he might go instead swapping Yang to the right side, Chuneki starting on the left side, and then bringing on Nygren, Balakwisha, Kenny, Yamada, etc. later on in the game. If we do need a bit of extra attacking intent or a bit of extra pace or a bit of extra trickery and dribbling and crossing and passing from out wide. In terms of a predicted score, I'm going to go for a 3-1 win for Celtic. I think Hearts are in a bit of a downward turn in their form. They've been drawing games rather than winning games recently. And they've had 3 draws, 1 loss and 1 win out their last 5 games. Celtic have 5 wins out of 5 in their last 5 games. And so clearly Celtic go into the game against Hearts on Sunday much more full of confidence, much more full of team spirit, and Hearts struggling a wee bit with injuries, suspensions and loss of form, and their manager McInnes has been changing things around a wee bit, which also causes a bit of disruption to their tactics, cohesion and team focus and team morale. So 3-1 win for me, but do feel free to put your own comments regarding the lineup, formations and predicted score into the comment section after you've watched the whole video. Now, moving on to some stats of Celtic against Hearts games. In the last 10 Celtic against Hearts games, Celtic have 7 wins and 3 defeats. In all competitions, all time, Celtic have against Hearts 87 wins, just 22 defeats and 17 draws. In the last 27 home games against Hearts, Celtic have 25 wins, 1 draw and 1 defeat, with that defeat coming around about 2 years ago in December 2023, when Celtic were caught rather cold by Hearts to poor goals given away by Celtic to go 2-0 down. It was a day where Celtic just couldn't seem to get the ball into the net, despite quite a number of chances to get a goal back or even equalise or win the game. And in the end, it was a rather demoralised, dispirited team that ended the game. And Celtic at that point had a wee bit of a poor run, with also a defeat to Kilmarnock shortly before that. However, after the defeat to Hearts, Celtic did get on a really good run of wins over Christmas and New Year, before having another wee dip in form early in 2024. In the last 44 league games between Celtic and Hearts, both at Celtic Park and at Tynecastle, Celtic have a very remarkable 36 wins, 2 draws and just 6 defeats. Although, having said all that, in the last 7 league matches between Celtic and Hearts, Celtic have won 4 times and Hearts have won 3 times. Also, interesting stat, pretty much showing how important Daizen Maeda has been for Celtic throughout 2025. Remembering that for the second half of 2025, he's not really been on the best of form. However, having said that, he is top of Celtic's goal contributions charts for 2025, with obviously another 3 or 4 weeks left to go. He has 26 altogether, 17 goals, 9 assists, which equals Ryan Christie's record from 2019, and the next ahead of that is Lee Griffiths on 30. And so if Daizen Maeda was to have a good end to the 2025 season for Celtic, he could easily beat Lee Griffiths' record from 9 years ago. Just to sum things up, I'm actually happy that Celtic have kept hold of Gavin Strachan and Stevie Woods. I would have been quite keen for Celtic to keep hold of either McManus or preferably Fotheringham, but they maybe both have ambitions to be coaches or assistant managers or even managers in their own right. And Sean Maloney, I think, will still be involved quite heavily with Celtic behind the scenes. I think he also will be an advisor or a sounding board for Nancy as things goes forward, and I do also expect that Martin O'Neill will have some form of informal role and be available for advice, guidance, or a chat with Wilfried Nancy as and when required. No other real news as far as I can see in all the various sports sites and Celtic sites, and so we'll finish things off at that point there. Just as we go, a wee polite suggestion, encouragement for those not yet subscribed to the channel, please do click that subscriber button, keep the numbers pushing up and up towards 1500. 1500 for Christmas would be a lovely present for the channel and for me. And do pop your thoughts, comments into the comment section, particularly regarding how you feel Nancy is settling down at Celtic in his first couple of days, how the squad are looking, and what your thoughts are regarding formations, tactics, selections, and for the Hearts game and the score for the Hearts game, and also looking further ahead if you wish as well. So that finishes things off for this Saturday afternoon video. Next video will be some form of post-match review of the Celtic Hearts match, and there are 1 or 2 other wee videos that I'm trying to put together just to give a bit of variety on the channel, and 1 or 2 other wee fun things as we come towards Christmas 2025. And so until the next video, good luck tomorrow, Celtic, in beating Hearts, and hail, hail.